Hi, welcome back. Here's something that's really cool. It's a piece of beige loveliness, and let's take a look inside. So this is, as you can see, a tower unit. I think it's a AMD. Can't actually remember. Take the power out. So let's look. Oh, lovely gold fan. Not much in the way of dust, which is a good sign. Case is a little bit bent there. There's no expansion cards at all. But it has a standard PS2, bunch of USB, Ethernet, game port, audio, parallel, nice, and on-off switch. I do like an on-off switch on there. So before I power it up, let's just take a look inside. One of these weird cases that comes off in one unit, which is kind of good in some ways, but usually a pain in the arse to get back again. Okay, well there you go. So what have we got? It's an ASRock board, fairly standard sort of layout. So it's got a AGP slot, a couple of PCIs. There's a big spinning disc there on IDE. Yeah, okay. So I'm pretty sure it's an AMD. Yeah, it is an AMD processor. It's actually got a AMD thing on there. Standard floppy drive. Down there, standard CD-ROM, the DVD-ROM actually. What's interesting is this thing here. So on the front, it has this. It looks like it's a little bit stoved in. It's a something. What's that? I can't really read that. Entech. I think it's a fan controller. It's kind of a weird thing there. I'm not sure what that's all about. Couple of trim pots there. Yeah, that's a fan speed controller. Okay, love the power switch. That's really cool. Could do with lubrication, but squeaks a bit. So, should we plug it in and see what happens? So that's currently off there. We'll plug it into the VGA port. Let's get the screen on and see what happens. Sound particularly encouraging, but I think it'll be fine. Well, you never know. On this channel, you never quite know. Right, let's get it on there. So RGB, that's good. Oh, to plug a keyboard in, I suppose. Let's get my lovely digital PS2 keyboard. I love this thing. It's so nice. And right, okey-doke. That's on there, that's on there. Okay. There's no lights on the motherboard on there, so let's switch it on. Oh, it's spinning. The fan's spinning. Oh, I just heard the floppy drive go. Yeah, there's some video signal. I think it's booting. It's booting to XP. Hey, cool. Nice. I've got a mouse plugged in. Wow, that was painless. Okay, let's plug a mouse in. So what we got? Composite device found. Yeah, the keyboard is apparently working. It's quick too. I don't think it liked the mouse. Maybe it wasn't the mouse, maybe it was something else. May have to plug a PS2 mouse into it. Alright, let's have a quick poke around whilst we can. So there's half a gig of memory. No, it's definitely not working, is it, on that? Let's do a restart. and go into BIOS and have a look at BIOS. I have to find a PS2 mouse somewhere. It's all disappeared. Whenever you want one, they just scurry like actual mice. I'm not sure what the BIOS settings are. BIOS key is. Let's try delete or F1. Oh, it's American Megatrends. It's probably. Oh, there we go. So it's AMD Athlon XP 2500 Plus, 1.8 gig. It's pretty good. So it's DDR memory, and it's half a gig, so I'll be able to put more memory in there, which is good. What else have we got? So 64 meg onboard video card. I'm not quite sure what it is, but we'll figure that out. What else? Resource config, peripherals. Guess everything's totally turned on. Yeah, it looks like it's all turned on. Is there a physical serial port on there? No, there isn't a physical serial port. Maybe there's a header on the board. That's usual. MIDI port, hey, for the out of the game, nice. And an onboard modem. Modem? Maybe there's a header for that. Interesting. So it's got the hardware monitor. The fan works fine. Wow, this is unusually perfect. Usually my things just don't work very well. So there's the floppy. IDE is a Maxtor unit. Wow. Okay. I'm actually quite impressed that that's worked flawlessly. Right. Let me get a PS2 mouse. Okay. Well, I've got a period correct mouse. Tesco's. Maybe not that correct, but it's a PS2 mouse. So let's boot into this sucker. Yeah, so if we have a look in there is actually a torch. So in there is actually on there. That's a COM header there, an audio header next to it, a USB header there. I don't know where the modem thing is. It's very unusual. Okay, everything else looks pretty cool. So hey, the mouse works, which is good. Let's go into the control panel. Go into. Oh, guys, it's lightning fast. That's impressive. All right. So what we got on video? So the adapter. So it's a SYS video controller. SYS 741 64 meg, which is not bad, but that's not where we want to be. So what I'm going to do is grab an AGP graphics card, put that in there. I've got an MPEG playback decoder just for the sake of it. I wonder if I could get my Voodoo card to work on here as well. It's a really nice bit of kit. I was going to do horrible, nefarious things to the innards of this because I really like the aesthetic of the case. But you know what? I'm not going to, because I just like it. It feels solid. It's a very nice bit of kit. I'm impressed with that. And who doesn't need XP in their life, really, to be honest? Okay, that's good. There's all kinds of weird stuff here on the audio config. Yeah, it's got this 3D audio stuff. I love the style of it. It's great. It is full on. It's definitely of its time, but that's no bad thing. DirectX 9, pretty good. We're going to be able to play some decent games on here. Okay, what's Studio version 9? What's that all about? Pinnacle Studio. Was there a yeah, there was some kind of camera link thing, was there? This is like a video editor. Pinnacle Studio, okay, check to see software updates. No, don't bother with that. You ain't going on the internet, I can tell you that much. There's a nice lady there doing her thing with video playback. Nice. It's alright actually. So I think maybe with a little bit of TLC and some fairly minor upgrades. I don't want to do too much to it. So what is that? So that says, so there's a 100 gig there, and storage is 100. So what is that? 200 gig? Yeah, 250 gig drive, something like that. Pretty bog standard, but I really like it. It just works. So where is the? So we go into system. We go into hardware, into device manager. Let's have a look. So disk drives. There we go. That's the Mac store drive. So we can populate that, and we can see. Yeah, so it's a 250 gig disk. That's really quite cool. Wow, it's nice. I like it. Like it a lot. So one thing I don't like is this horrible thing there, this bodge of a piece of terminal block, a single piece of terminal block. I don't like that at all. So reading stuff on here in the board, it seems like there's a 5.1 channel audio. I'm wondering about that because, well, you know what, it works. I'm going to be running XP on it, and that is an XP unit, and I've been wondering about a decent XP unit for a while, but it looks like this is the one. I think that's probably everything I need in terms of performance, really. I don't need anything else. Yeah, an AMD Athlon 2500 Plus is more than enough if I'm going to be playing some more retro games and flight sims and stuff like that. I don't need any more. What I do need is more memory, so I'm going to dig out some DDR memory. If I can go to, well, I don't know, maybe 2 gig. 2 gig is probably enough for this XP machine. I mean, I might be able to find 4, but I don't know. There's only 2 slots on the board, which is a bit disappointing. Alright, that's cool. Let's take a closer look at this weird, what may be a fan controller. Yeah, what's odd is that this thing here is actually connected straight into the Antec power supply. It has this thing called True Control. So all that's there is this very simple thing here with some pots where you can adjust the voltage settings. You see here plus 12, plus 3.3, plus 5. You can adjust it weirdly, and maybe that is for tuning, sort of overclocking and stuff. But what's interesting is that if you turn this up, you can hear and feel the fan is really shifting the air out the back of the PSU. That's interesting. You can just, it's very sensitive, you can just trim that a little bit and it will, I'm not quite sure what that is. Got a weird kind of symbol. It's like a temperature symbol, but it's, I don't know, it's not a pot. I don't understand that. Or maybe it is a pot. I don't know. That's weird. I don't get that. Or maybe it's actually a. Maybe it's a. You pull that out somehow, and it's like a screwdriver for this. Weird. Very strange. This looks like it's got a mounting for a 3.5 inch floppy or device. And I think that is true because there's nothing else behind there. Just a metal grill. So maybe I could use that to mount something else in. I'm not sure what the 5.25 inch thing I'm going to need. I mean, even the DVD goes in and out, and anyone who's got an old machine knows they never flipping work. So yeah, chuffed to bits with that. This is going to have some upgrades, and then we'll revisit that, put some games on and do some testing. Let's have a look at this power thing. This is where I'm not so happy. So for some reason it's got a whole load of connectors here, some P4 connectors and other bits and pieces, and it's been adapted. I think somebody's chopped this off and spliced in some what looks like a SATA connection. There are no SATA headers at all on the board. It's pure IDE, which is no bad thing. I don't like, it's weird, but if you've got a board with IDE on it, ATA stuff, but you've also got SATA headers, I don't like it. It's just mixed. It's horrible. It's like that transition period. If it's going to have SATA, SATA only. If it's going to have if it's going to have ATA only. It's going to have SATA, then SATA. This mixed thing, I don't know. It just grinds my gears for some weird reason. This has been bodged by the look of it, because there's no way that's factory. So I'm going to have to maybe rewire this thing carefully and see why that's been spliced in. Other than that, it's cool. Obviously this Antec, well, I say obviously, the chances are this Antec power supply, let me just turn that down a little tiny bit, doesn't need to be that much. This Antec power supply I think is a specialist one with maybe overclock potential and stuff like that, if you've got some weird requirements to do that. And that fan controller, that's not normal, but it's there. If I can use that front bit for a 3.5 inch, I don't know. Thing is, on the front of it, what's really cool, if you look there, unusually, in fact, let me just pull back a little bit, so you can see here. Yeah, if you look at this, the upgrade potential is massive, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full height slots. That's mad. That is mad. In a relatively small case. Are they full height? Hang on, I might be talking rubbish there. Yeah, so there's 4 full height slots and 2 3.5 inch slots. So this could be upgraded to the max, and I'm feeling tempted that I want to do that for some weird reason. I want to populate all of it, but what am I going to put in there? I mean, I've got a tape drive, I suppose it could go in there. I've got I could put a, do I need two DVD drives? No. But either you could, I don't know. Yeah, tape drive, DVD maybe on there, and floppy drive, and maybe a zip drive. I've got a lovely zip drive I could go in there. My problem is, all the things I've just mentioned, half of them have a black finish, and I don't want that. I'm struggling with this. This grinds my gears a bit, but I suppose I'm not going to get rid of it because it's part of the power supply and it's kind of a weird aesthetic. So yeah, maybe I'll just end up putting a load of fairly random looking things in there, I don't know, but it wants to be upgraded. So anyway, there we go. So that's all a lot of fun, so I'm going to get rid of that and maybe in the future use it as a monitor for 8-bit machine, so I could use that. This is not going to go on the network. It's obviously an XP machine, so if you expose it to the internet by mistake, then bad things will happen. So this is always going to be air gapped, but if I can connect up video inputs to it, then maybe I could capture some stuff from old 8-bit machines like my Apple II, my Atari XE, things like that. So let's have a quick look at a game. So I've got Half-Life Blue Shift here, which is like a fan-made instance of this. So I had a game already in progress. I haven't got the sound rigged up, but I mean, sound is going to be pretty bang on. But this is running in 1024-768 resolution, and it's substantially better than the onboard card. You know, the frame rate is brilliant. It's really good. Very, very playable. Very playable. Yeah, I can increase it if I want to, but it's kind of no point. I mean, the frame rate here is more than adequate for what I might need. Yeah, it's really cool. Very, very playable. There's a whole host of games like this that are ready to rock and roll now, and I'm excited to start playing around. I haven't had an XP system properly up and running for a while, but you know what? Now I have. I'm going to have to get more memory, as I mentioned, because this is running fine amazingly with half a gig of memory. Nothing runs that these days. You know, it's a crazy amount of memory needed for stuff. But I don't want this to start swapping to disk, because then performance will just completely degrade. So yeah, that's the next step. Get a bit more memory in it. As I say, the tidy up, I'd like to, but I can't be bothered at the moment. I just want to start playing with the thing. My intention next is to get hold of the Thrustmaster flight control stuff that I've got in somewhere, knocking about, and install, should be in here somewhere. Yeah, I've got a copy of Flight Unlimited, so I'm going to put that on it and see what we can see. That does need more memory, so if I can get at least 2 gig in there, that'll probably be enough. I mean, it's crazy thinking that 2 gig is enough for anything, but with XP, yeah, it's for what I need, it should be fine. So I think we're going to go with a better graphics card, possibly a 3D effects if I can get it working. More memory, definitely. Tidy up the cabling, that looks a bit odd. And play some games. Cool. I think, actually, maybe I've got a Sandblaster Gold. Maybe that could go in there. But I don't know. I really like these crazy flipping applications that were installed with the sound card on there. So maybe I just stick with that. There's no point in going too nuts. Definitely a better graphics card because the one on there is a bit naff. And game me up. See you next time. Cheers.